Here we go. I just totally just like disown her.
That's right.
That'd be fucked up. Is what it would be. Honestly, tell you the truth. Whoa. I gotta mute that. I'm hearing myself back.
All this is going live right now, and they talking. The family's like listening to it.
It was playing back in my headphones because it automatically opens
I'm
the
on
window.
the podcast. I'm not talking yet.
If you join, say hey in the chat. If you join, say hey in the chat.
What the hell? What is this going? Oh, okay. I swear, I promise on everything. They are stretching this damn control mixtape out. Bitch, it's 4 minutes, ho. Like we ain't playing control yet.
I know, dude. What the hell?
What is happening?
All right, now I'm about to start recording.
Like, watch, they gonna put us on gun run. What?
Now watch. They're gonna be all in your stomach.
Sorority, Gates sorority.
Gary Gates. Okay, here we are. Now I'm gonna start recording. Record on this computer.
Can you see me?
Can I see you like on camera on Zoom?
Yeah.
No.
Cool. Because I'm out of it.
I was about to say no. I cannot. Let's see. Yeah. So, Bondaval. Yeah. Hey, look, it's got 5 players in the queue.
This don't make no sense.
No.
It's been damn near a good 10 minutes. I'm about connecting to Max. But you ain't connecting to nothing. You want? I bet we ain't gonna have to wait for gun run like this.
Yeah, that's what's crazy because there's delinquent bastards out there that probably love playing gun run. This is crazy, but I'm in a group chat with some folks, right? And there's this one guy who, has these tendencies about him, whatever. He's an all right dude. This is also not the group chat that we're in together, just to be clear. I didn't want you to be guessing too hard. But this is a guy, I've been friends on and off with him for a long time. Ups and downs, nothing too dramatic, but the all right guy, I guess. He's just got some things about him. He has posted in this group chat like 2 or 3 different times. He has been like, oops, wrong group chat. And he's like sent like these like super high ranked like Pokemon that he has from Pokemon Go.
Yeah.
And like, I know that there's people in the chat that like really badly want to probably say something to him. Like, just like, dude, like, come on. Like, you're saying you're accidentally sending this. We don't give a fuck about your fucking Pokemons. But like the first time that he sent it, like nobody replied to it or anything. And then he was like, oh, sorry, wrong chat. Which cool, whatever, but it's just like, damn, it's just almost like it reeks of some form of desperation.
Like he tested the waters for a while and then he realized that, oh, damn, nobody cared.
Yeah.
Well,
That's rough. Do you feel like that almost every relationship that involves like threesomes comes to an end at some point?
like sexual or just people and overall?
No, just like a sexual relationship, like they're like open to just cracking down on like other people and stuff.
Oh, kind of like what we were discussing the other night. Talking about like the whole polyamorous thing.
Kind of, I guess. I'm thinking more just in the traditional sense of just like, yeah, me and my husband will hook up with like other chicks and we bag other, look at this shit. Cancel and rejoin. I'm
This
gonna
is
be
so
so
wild,
pissed.
dog. This is great.
Sorry.
They're really trying to make sure we don't play this.
Yeah, for anyone who's wondering, we are trying to play a video game together and it just will not load a server for some reason. But
It's like since we said we were doing really good on control, they have not given us control back.
exactly. That is an exact fact. Not sure what's going on with it.
They're like, never
But
again.
yeah, never.
You never enjoy your time. Um, I don't know. I mean, I think it's kind of like the same situation with the polyamory thing. It's like someone's always going to end up liking somebody a little bit more.
Yeah. Or like I just feel like it opens the door for like a large amount of
Needless
like
drama.
infidelity. Like because
Well,
at what point does it seems like there's a really blurred line
it
between
technically is.
like whenever it's like I'm cheating on you currently versus you know I'm like this is you're cool with this, right? Those I don't know. That just to me it seems like it'd be a blurred line. I've never personally been in that situation.
Yeah, well,
And
because to me, I think it just depends on the type of people you mess with. Right? Like if both people come together and they were off the bat, they're saying, "Hey, gun run, watch, watch, come on." Oh, okay. Look at that.
is it
On
loading us
city,
up?
on city.
Nice.
All right. Anyway, let me start eating these damn chips. Like the whole podcast, I'm just eating chips.
Yeah, so it's definitely. Oh, what the hell!
Well, that was a troll.
I
I'm okay
backed.
with this.
I backed out and I didn't join back in. So I didn't mean to stay backed out. I meant to join back in whenever, but I left the front thing. Yeah, I don't know. I don't even know really know why I brought that up, but I did just see where Amon Shumpert and Tiana Taylor are getting divorced,
Who?
and I know that they're seemingly pretty West Coasty.
Well, I mean, everybody's open with the stuff until they ain't open with it.
Yeah,
So,
till it's too much.
you know, like I said, I think when it comes down to it, it just depends on people.
Yeah,
If both people are highly promiscuous folks, and then other people know right off the back that, hey, we're trying to sleep with other folks.
yeah,
That's what they want, and they're letting the other partner know that from the jump. Then, all right, yeah, sure. I mean, you're going into the relationship knowing that
yeah,
because you know that, cool. But let's say y'all been married for like a good 5 years, then that 5 year, that 5 year itch kicks in, and your wife is just like, hey, well, you ever thought about, having sex with somebody else?
yeah.
Or
And then it's like it's a wrap at that point.
what do you mean, sweetie? Not particularly. And she's like, it's just a thought. Or the husband's like, hey, babe, I've been working with this girl for a while, and
Oh my God. See, that right there is crazy talk. That is
yeah,
crazy, crazy, crazy talk.
I've been working with this person for a while, and you know, she says she's in a polyamorous relationships, and into swinging. Why not try it? We've been talking to our therapist for a while, and our therapist has been saying that we need to maybe get into new things. Why not try it? It's just like, exactly. Why not try it? Aren't we
Well,
cool? Aren't we good
what's
with this?
funny is think about the context of if the dude came home and said that versus if the girl came home and said that. I think it depends. It obviously, like you said, it varies from couple to person to couple to person, whoever. But like, can you imagine being the guy or being the girl and the guy comes home? Like it's gonna be a lot more of like a
Yeah, being the person who's trying to like actually bring this bull crap up to the significant other, and the significant other has never had this idea before in their day in their life.
yeah, like this. I would have never considered this to be the thing that we do to, re
Yeah.
spark our flame or whatever. Like you're absolutely out of your mind. But I mean, not necessarily. I get this. Like I said, some people, but it's like if somebody just came out of left field, I also think of like how much easier it would be for a woman to like backtrack and just kind of be like, I'm just, kind of, just saying stuff. Blah, blah. I wanted to get your reaction or something like that. But like if a dude says that, it's like shit gonna be fucked up around the crib for a couple of days. Because if you came up to your girl and you said, "Hey, I was talking to this other chick at work, and she said that she would be interested in like, you know what I'm saying?" Like, and it's like, "Whoa, what? Why were you
No,
talking to some other girl about this? We've never even talked about this." That would just be madness. I mean, I guess it would be the
yeah, well, I
equivalence.
mean,
It would be the equivalency if a girl was to be like, "Hey, I was talking with this dude that I work with."
well, well, nowadays because I mean, like the stereotypes have switched. People are kind of seeing that like women can be just as bad, if not worse, when it comes to that kind of crap because dudes don't really have the sort of options. You know what I'm saying? Like you don't, your average guy doesn't have a truffle of men. I mean, not a, well, I guess some of them, but
Hey,
your average dude just doesn't have a bunch of like women just waiting around the corner to, shoot off at him.
yeah,
Whereas like women, any day of the week, you
yeah,
know, just being honest with all,
dudes with money.
any dude,
Yeah,
any dude, any guy that's like anybody. So, but
yeah,
yeah, if you're a guy
uh,
who's trying to talk that crap, it's wild. Especially if you ain't
yeah.
really the type of
Well,
guy to be
see,
having
and
relationships
but
like that.
that's what I was saying too, though, was like dudes with money can pull that kind of do that kind of shit. You know, they're like,
Yeah,
oh
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. Because the woman, well, I mean, it just depends on how much respect she has for herself as well. Like, if she's okay
right,
with being a trophy wife, or not even marriage, but if she's okay with just being like the third side hoe or something like that,
yeah.
as long as she's still getting piped down by him every single night, I guess she's perfectly okay with it.
I was going to say in the defense of obviously, there is a smaller portion of people, but I imagine there are some people who are emotionally capable of actually dealing with that stuff. So like,
Yeah,
that's
that's
different.
what I'm saying.
But
If
I'm
they're
speaking in
if they're upfront
generalities,
about
most
it,
people.
yeah, yeah. No, most people don't want to do that shit because most people are monogamous,
Right.
even if they act like they're not. Like most people will
Yeah.
try to get into a relationship at least for like a week or two, and try to stay into it. You ain't gonna be having nobody just switching off and switching on like that damn quick.
Yeah.
You're like, yeah, I don't really care. I don't give a fuck, whatever.
Yeah. I don't
Not
know.
everybody is promiscuous. Not everybody's like an nymphomaniac.
Yeah. Some people could just be, I just couldn't imagine like popping that question and somebody be like, no, baby, I'm not really into that. And then things just going back to normal afterwards.
No,
Uh,
because I
y-
mean, it begs the question that, well, what's wrong with me?
yeah. Yeah, exactly.
And if you got a family with this person, it's like, damn, this is about
Yeah.
this is about to go left.
I'm in a bind.
Yeah,
I
this
am in
is
a
about to go
bind.
left real quick. It's like, don't even play with me about that because people out here, like the divorce rate is
Oh man,
80%.
dude, like, and it's crazy. I've been hearing a lot of this stuff talking. I'm sure there's several different schools of thought about it, but like the no fault divorce stuff, where they're basically
Yeah.
saying that like, a woman can leave a dude for like,
But I was talking about I think there was like a few states, I don't know if they're conservative states or not, but they're talking about like getting rid of that shit.
I'm sure it's more conservative people I hear talking about it, but I mean, it basically talks is the thing that I've been hearing is how, I mean, obviously I haven't had to deal with
Essentially, a
divorce
woman,
myself, but
well, the person who wants to leave the relationship can do it regardless of anything.
and
Like,
they can still be paid like alimony if the
yeah,
person has
yeah,
money.
yeah. And I know in certain states, I think this actually did pass someplace where uh they're taking away like the lifetime alimony,
Yeah.
whereas basically a woman can, receive alimony for the rest of her life or whatever. And I was like, that's crazy. I
Yeah.
said to myself, that should have never been a thing in the first place. I'm not
Yeah.
even sure that's true. That doesn't sound correct. I don't think people can just get alimony for the rest of your life. I thought it was until the kid was an adult.
No, dude, people can get paid alimony. It doesn't even have to have anything to do with a kid.
What the
Like
fuck?
a woman, I'm pretty sure that Dr. Dre, just as an example, I would Google it, but my hands are full right now. But I'm pretty sure that Dr. Dre has to pay like his ex old lady like $200,000 a month.
Yeah, because I
Like,
guess the idea is that it's in order to make sure that the person who you married is able to like maintain a certain level of lifestyle that they have.
yeah, yeah, yeah. That's crazy to me
Oh,
because I'm
that's what I'm
like,
saying.
bitch,
That's the
you were
same. It's
married
like,
to
but
me.
you left
That's
me.
the
You
only
left me.
reason.
Yeah, that's why
Yeah,
you got a part of this. That's the whole point of like marriage, pretty much. Now
yeah.
you go, you don't keep the, you don't keep the prizes. It's a wrap.
What's crazy to me too is like you hear shit like that, and then you hear like the Dr. Dre story, like shoot there for a little while. They were trying to say that like he was beating on her and stuff like that. And I say they tried to say he really might have been doing that, but it's just one of those things where it's like, was he doing that, or is that just to make it look
Yeah,
better
because that
for
that
you to
will
get
that
the
would
money?
actually been in that case it wouldn't be defined as a no fault divorce situation.
Right.
Then
Right. I mean, it would
it's
look
no
better
fault
in
pretty much.
I was just gonna say it would look better in her defense.
Yeah,
Like to be like, yeah, you know what? You are an asshole and she deserves that money, like because you're a
yeah,
cocksucker and you were allegedly beating her around.
yeah. I mean, I think anybody is willing to understand that, but the whole concept of no fault shit is basically, if you ever seen the movie like, well, I think it was a movie, Eat, Pray, Love. I don't even think they were married or whatever, but
I never seen
concept
it,
is
but
that
I know what you're talking about.
there was a thing where pretty much where the idea is that, oh well, this woman is now bored of a relationship with her husband because time, life, she's just over it, I guess. And she's
Hmm.
like, well, fuck it, I'm going to leave now. And the guy's like, well, what the fuck? Bitch, you just done. It's just life is different and I feel different and things have changed for me. It's like, well, okay, well,
I'm a
bye.
different person. Yeah, it's like if that was the case. I mean, obviously, I just feel like everything's so much different with a kid. Like I couldn't imagine somebody just like. I mean, obviously, people do it all the time, but
Yeah, they do.
I couldn't imagine what it would be like to come home from work one day and like you didn't even see no writing on the walls, and your wife is just like, "Yeah, me and little Henry moved out, so take it easy."
Did I do something wrong? Well, I told you so many times that like you leave your dirty clothes on the floor, or you don't appreciate me in certain ways. And it's like, well, what the fuck you talking about?
Yeah,
That's worth divorcing me for.
uh,
And of course, then you find out like
yeah,
a
bye.
month later that she's talking to some other dude or some shit, and it's
Yeah,
like,
and
oh,
it's
okay,
just like,
cool.
and you're about to have to pay $800 a month. You
Why
about to have
this
to,
dude is up in your house piping your girl down, and
yeah, you about to have to go get a whole nother job because of the fact that your girl has just decided she wanted to leave.
no.
Your life,
But I
your
don't
life
know.
just got
Apparently, apparently,
30% more expensive.
apparently, people, yeah, apparently, people say it doesn't really happen to like, I guess, the average person in that way. But I think the internet makes it seem as though this every man can have this happen to him, and this is you are in danger for every man is blah blah blah. And it's like I don't know if that's completely true now. Like I know plenty of dudes who put themselves on child support, and they basically, they were the ones who were able to. They made the terms. They're
Yeah.
like, okay, I'm gonna give this girl 300 every month, and that's it. I'm guessing maybe they can work for your average person, but I mean, that shit aside, it's still not a big
It depends
sum.
on who the people are. I mean,
Bro, and probably
really.
what state you live in, really.
Yeah. Because I mean, they're not going to make you be like, "Hey, okay, well, your child support is now $2,800, but you only make 205 a month." You know what I'm saying? They're not going
No,
to do something like that. What they do is they base it off of how much money you have. Well, I mean, with your average person like us, like I mean, God forbid. I hope this would never happen. But if me and my wife ever got divorced, like
I'm
they
like,
would take,
I would not use myself as an example.
yeah,
I'm like a friend of mine named Terry.
yeah, they would take whatever money that you make and they'd cut off X amount of that. But like to my understanding, they cut off a lot if you have to go to the court and do it. But like
Yeah.
I think a lot of people, their goal, you just have to try to be amicable with your significant other when y'all split. So that way it's like
Oh
we don't have
yeah.
to go through the court and I'll just, do what
But
I gotta do.
that's not in the divorce lawyers retroport. Like
Right.
that's not in their thing. They actually want you two to hate each other so that they can get as big as a cut as they possibly can.
Right.
Like one of the reasons
Exactly.
why it has actually grown within the past like fucking I guess 40 years or so is because it is a business. And
Yeah.
like everything else in corporate America, they have found a way to fuck up like I guess family units and shit simply because they're greedy.
Yeah, there's no cure for cancer, and
I
that's
mean, if
probably why.
if you've seen the movie, what was I think Marriage Story,
I never
with
watched it, but I heard a lot about it.
Maria, they're trying to be as amicable as they possibly can, and they're fucking the lawyers is like, well, did you know that she's doing this? Did you think that she was? Look at her, she's not the person that she used to be. There's all that wild shit. Like they be filling the people's head up with like the craziest
Damn,
shit.
that's jacked up too, dude.
Yeah,
That's so shitty.
and they're both basically turning the couple against each other.
Yeah.
At the end of it, they kind of find a way to, you know, become a little bit better, but it's like it coalesces in this huge argument about just different shit. But at the same time, the dude was kind of being an asshole, and the woman was kind of, you know, feeling like, oh well, I rely on you for everything, and I hate that, and I resent you for it, that kind of shit.
Yeah. Golly. I don't even want to watch that movie. I heard
She's
people
like,
talking about how like they're like, I ain't even married or close to it. And I was crying watching that movie. I'm like, damn, what the hell?
I wasn't crying. I was like, damn. I mean, it was damn good acting. That is for fucking sure. But it's just if you're a person who feels like that you're possibly in danger of that kind of shit, it
Yeah.
is I guess scary situation for somebody to
Well,
watch.
it seems like it'd be pretty easy to get claustrophobic. Like feel like, oh my God, maybe the walls are closing in on me too. Like that kind of stuff. I don't
Yeah,
know.
but see, well, that's the whole point of no fault though. Like you don't know, and usually it's always like people. Not to make this is red pill fresh and fit, Tim
Yeah.
Pool. Not to make it that way, but statistically speaking, they say it's usually the woman's choice. They say like 70 to 80% of the time she just doesn't want to be in the fucking relationship anymore, and then click, that's it. But
Yeah.
it's like
And
I
it,
guess it just depends on. I think people just need to know who the fuck they marry more
right.
than anything else. Like, don't marry somebody just because you think that you need to be in a marriage. Don't do it because you're sad and lonely or whatever else in the fuck.
Yeah.
Do it because you really want to fucking do it.
Yeah. Don't make it like a glorified dating thing.
Yeah.
These boys are about that business. But yeah, so I don't know. I don't know really what I was thinking about. Why I even brought the initial topic of people having
Because I mean, because
threesomes up.
sometimes it is that simple. I mean, sometimes you do just have dudes who are being assholes or they're not receptive of the partner, and
Yeah,
it can also happen with women as well. That was a good little shot. But yeah, I don't know. I think people just need to talk more.
yeah, yeah. Fair enough.
But but no, when it comes to that crazy shit, no, I think you just ask for trouble. I mean, think about what happened with Adam 22 and all that stuff. Like, dude's been banging women with his wife for a long time, and the next thing you know, like his wife ends up getting banged out in a porno, and people are like, ha ha ha, look at your bro getting cucked. I'm like, well, she was technically getting cucked too. What are you talking about? And what do you think she was just gonna be okay with watching her husband beat porn stars loose every week on a damn podcast?
Yeah, how did you think this was gonna go?
And what? She wasn't gonna get lined up next? No.
That's crazy. Yeah, exactly. And then she got wrecked on screen, and now you have to hear about it every day of your life. There was apparently a person beheaded. No, hang on. An innocent man was murdered in cold blood while riding his bicycle. The killers joked about it on social media. It's like somebody, I guess, dressed up as a ninja killed a man.
Hmm.
Oh, okay. This is something different.
According to what?
Hang on. Let's see. Just saw something clicked. It was something that was trending on Twitter about somebody getting not like their head cut off or something in New York.
Oh,
I might have read it wrong. I'm not looking it up because I don't feel like it. But there's a
yeah,
today is a holiday in my book. I feel like today is a holiday, and the reason why is not because of the shit I was just talking about. Actually, just to be clear, but no, Grand Theft Auto 5 came out 10 years ago today.
that is not a holiday.
It's a holiday, bro.
It's a holiday for me. You start crying. You don't get it.
Hey man, I didn't go to work today. It's like,
It's Sunday.
yeah, do you usually work on Sundays? Hey, that doesn't matter. It is hardly relevant.
I'm like, it is very relevant. What are you talking? Listen, man. It's Grand Theft Auto. No, I keep hearing about leaks. I keep hearing about them talking about the Grand Theft Auto leaks. But I haven't seen anything. It's that kind of situation. I keep hearing about people talk about their Grand Theft Auto leaks, and they keep talking about the game. But it's like I never actually see the leaks, or maybe it's because I just don't look into it. And I don't care. That could be it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't ever look at the leaks. I see when they come out, but whenever they say that there's leaks, I don't ever. check into it because honestly,
I
I
don't
don't
want
know.
to see it.
Yeah, I don't want it to be spoiled like that. I'd rather it be official releases. They said apparently they have a massive announcement next month. Uh, we'll see. And I mean, if the massive announcement is that Grand Theft Auto is coming out next year, sure, I'll be happy to hear that. But that's not really nothing. If they drop a trailer, whew, that's gonna be nuts. Uh, it's pretty much they're like, yeah, it's cool. We just wanted to go ahead and let Xbox have their little Starfield week, and they're like, now our time is here.
The most disappointing week of all time. Well,
I don't think
because
I
you
don't
played the
think
game, but I look at it like this. This was supposed to be the savior of Xbox, right? And I think that was the problem. Like people on both ends of the spectrum did this thing where it's like the hype machine made it the end all be all for Microsoft. And it was kind of like, and it landed okay-ish.
damn, I thought you were somebody else. Sorry, go ahead.
I am. I never was. I
Oh
just woke
boy.
up. Like, what the fuck? No, but I think that's kind of what ended up happening because you had a lot of people complaining about the fact that it's a Bethesda game and Bethesda the games do what Bethesda games do. Like, oh no, the graphics, like, yeah, they're never good. Like that's not the point. Oh no, I got bamboozled.
Oh no. He's
But
been
that's not the point.
bamboozled. Sorry.
Yeah, but that's not the point of most of those games. Like they're not really meant to be graphically, impressive. They kind of use the same damn engine that they've been using for 10 years, even though Microsoft paid them a shit ton of money, I guess, to upgrade, but it still didn't work. People found out that Todd Howard, the guy who runs these games, is still lying his ass up, but that's what he does. Like it's
Yeah,
just,
it works every time.
oh, the every planet is different and we're running on a brand new updated graphical system and blah this and blah and you can go there and just like the dude lies every single fucking time and people are still just like yeah we know
I think it's fair to say that they overpromised,
that is
but
all right when you tell people that there are planets that are basically pop up out of nowhere and they're procedurally generated and they're all different and this and that and then people go to each planet and they find out it's literally the same planet just copy and paste it. That is a bold face lie. It just is. Like
yeah,
it just it. But to me, like I said, I'm not really trying to like rail on or nothing like that. But
I
I mean,
think
I think if people like the game, I think that's okay. Like fuck it, it's just one of those things. Like you can enjoy the game and still criticize it.
I think what had happened is they might have overpromised and some people got their hopes up so high. And because we are pretty critical these days, I personally, I think that something that works in my favor is the fact that I don't play a bunch of games like that,
That's
whether it
pretty
be
much it.
in the Bethesda realm. But I think the game is fun as hell. Uh, I don't know nothing about it being able to save the console or anything. At this point, it seems like you're gonna have to have a little more than just 80 to 120 hours to complete a game, like that kind of stuff. And they say it doesn't even take that long if you just focus on the main missions.
Yeah. Well, I think that was another aspect about it. Cause see, some people love Bethesda for I guess for the whole side quest thing. Like, oh, they make such great side quest games. I'm like, since when? Like, I've never known them to have like really, really impressive side quests. I think most games really don't have that impressive side quests. I
Sure.
think everybody always brings up The Witcher or whatever, but or like old BioWare games, those were pretty good. But a lot of people saying the side quests on here are just kind of like okay-ish. And if you play the main game, well, then it's actually a solid game. But you have some people who want to be like, I want to build my ship and I want to be able to like travel across the universe and all it and you can't actually do that in the game technically, I guess. When you travel, it's like fast travel or something.
Yeah, well, it's not like seamlessly traveling from planet to planet. A lot of people have been comparing it before and after the release to
They were to
No
No
Man's
Man's
Sky.
Sky. Yeah.
Yeah, and what's funny to me is like before this game came out, people were like, "Yeah," well, I'm talking about like a year and a half ago or 2 years ago when we first started hearing about this game, and seeing more about what it's supposed to do. like people were like, "Oh, it's just gonna be a better version of No Man's Sky," and like now people are like, "Damn, it
It
would
ain't.
be if they could put like the like space traverse, like traveling through space, and they put that in the game,
And they make it actually
like
interesting.
took what if they made that from or took that from No Man's Sky and put it with this game, that would have definitely made people, and I like I said, I'm just to be clear, I'm just playing devil's advocate a little bit here, but I enjoy the game. But I completely understand. I mean, when I first heard about this game, and even quite some time after I first heard about it, I was under the impression that you were going to be able to, be able to just travel like from planet to planet, and you didn't have to go through
Yeah.
like two loading screens. Like you fast travel to a planet, then and it's a loading screen to do that. And then once you get there, you're right outside, and depending on what planet you're on, they have to search your ship more or less, or scan it rather,
Yep.
for contraband or whatever. And then they're like, you're all clear. And if you're all clear or whatever, you have to click on the planet again, and you have to say where you want to go on the planet. And then it goes to more or less a loading screen, and then
Yeah, but
you landed on
given
the
the
planet.
given the technological advances and the fact that it's running on like the most powerful console of all time, it shouldn't even be loading screens, right?
I
Like
concur.
Todd didn't say that we're going to be loading screens. He said you'll be able to travel through space openly and freely.
And you don't get to do that though. Like you actually have to click something in order to get to another planet. I've seen some people saying online that if you go long enough that you can actually get to the other planet and then still have to hit that one loading screen. But
Yeah.
like I also think that people could be like trolling people. You know what I'm saying? Because they might want people to try it and then realize that they actually can't do that.
No, I think I want to say I saw somebody do it. Like there was some girl who I think she may have spent like 7 hours or something trying to get from one planet to the next, but it's
And
just empty.
that's possible. I just for me, it didn't seem even plausible, but I also would never have sat there for that long. So,
Yeah. But I think she was trying to show the point that it can be done. It's just that it sucks.
yeah.
Or also the fact that why don't you, have any way of traveling once you get on the planet? Like there's
Yeah.
no
There's no like cars or nothing.
you had to fly around. Yeah.
And I mean, I haven't actually tried this personally, but they say you can't walk from location to location on uh like on there. Like you can't like if you have a place on a planet, right? You can't walk to the other location on the planet without taking your ship. Which I mean, realistically, I get what they're saying, but the fact that there's no means of transportation or like just some like pretend that this you know, 2 mile drive is actually or 2 minute drive is actually you traveling to another country on the planet or something. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And they don't do that. And to me, that kind of sucks. Like I think that that's kind of whack,
Yeah.
especially
Let me tell you that.
to your point about for one,
Well,
you should be able to do that, but then on top of that, you kind of said you would be able to do that. Like that was like something that you guys said we'd be able to do, and this was years ago. So like if you had that, did you just think that that was something y'all were going to be able to pull off, and then you just weren't able to, or
this is probably well, I mean, it's the same shit about when they were bragging about like 60 FPS and saying that this is going to be like this pushing the Xboxes, breaking all that shit, and then they came out with like, well, guys, we actually can't push it to 60 FPS, and it's because it's in order to make sure that the game doesn't crash. I was like, well, at least they were honest about it. But then
yeah,
it turns out the game still crashes a lot.
yeah, no shit.
Like, there's a shit ton of people just recording nothing but crashes and fucking game not even being able to start, and not exactly on the same level as Redfall and nothing that crazy, but it's pretty bad. It's it's pretty
Yeah,
bad.
there's definitely not. I'm definitely not seeing anywhere near as much bad press as I did for Redfall, and that
No,
could just
because I think
be
Redfall was trying to be. Yeah, I mean, well, it could just be. Yeah, I know what you're kind of trying to say is
yeah,
people trying to protect Bethesda shit.
exactly. Like they're like, look, we love this company. We definitely don't, we don't want to shit on the entire company
People
because
will, I guess, really people trying to protect not Bethesda because I mean Redfall is also Bethesda, but I guess people trying to protect. Man, we were doing so good. People trying to protect I guess that version of Bethesda. I guess like
Yeah,
the people who made Skyrim, the people who made, fucking Elder Scrolls, that kind of crap.
right.
Because that is such a huge legacy behind it.
I was moderately disappointed, to be honest, that they didn't that with the space travel thing. But fortunately for me and a handful of other gamers like me, uh, there's not a lot
Uh,
more to be necessarily disappointed by. Like in all fairness, like I said, it's a fun
yeah,
game. There's
you got the gunplay. You also have the story. A lot of
yeah,
people aren't really particularly enthused by that.
I don't hate it so far. Me personally, I mean, like I said, I'm just one person. I'm not a lifer Bethesda guy. Like I know that I am a as a casual, as they say. And I think I'm pretty close to 20 hours. I could pull it up, but I don't feel like logging
Yeah.
into that right now. But I'm close to 20 hours and I'm not disappointed. I mean, I'm glad I played it a lot last night after I went to bed. I meant to go to sleep, or excuse me, after I went and got in bed, I played it and I was going to play for about 30 to 45 minutes. And I ended up playing till like 2:30 in the morning, like half
Jesus.
dead. Like I think I fell asleep twice with my computer in my lap. Like that's how close I was to death or sleep
But
with the whole
but I
time I was
would
sitting
say
there with it.
because I'm not trying to knock the game completely. I mean, I think when it comes down to is like to your point, if you are a casual gamer, you're probably not going to mind that because
Yeah.
you haven't really played a lot of games. Like I hate to say it like that. It's like it's almost like bitch, you don't know no better, but it's like
Yeah.
not trying to
No,
like
but
down it like that. But
100%
to me,
though,
it's
it's not, that's not my brand. You know what I'm saying? Like
yeah.
it's not necessarily,
One of the things I talked about when it comes to Bethesda overall is that they really do rely on the old Skyrim. They rely on Skyrim. They rely on the modding community. They rely on pretty much everything else but themselves when it comes down to like making games. Like they
yeah.
have a name, and their name is giving them a lot of weight because like I said, Skyrim, the casual baby's first RPG. Everybody loves the game because for a lot of people, it's their first RPG. But I think the thing is that it's been a long time since 2011. Like games have come a long way. Just about every game nowadays has some sort of RPG elements to it, and because of that, it's like, dog, y'all need to step it up.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Separate yourselves again from the pack. And
Like
that's what that's,
you can't keep making Skyrim and now I guess Skyrim in space or whatever. In order to and keep going off the name recognition only as a means to get by.
yeah. The only thing that sucks about that is to me, it just seems like it just downplays it so much. Like to just say that it's Skyrim in space. But in the same breath, I mean, I
Is it
say it,
not?
I mean, to what degree though? Like, I mean, I feel what people are saying. I guess I just don't play Skyrim enough. I played it, but I've never played it for any lengthy period of time. And to me, I just think like, yeah, but Fallout was the same thing as Skyrim and a post-apocalyptic, whatever. Not Skyrim, obviously, but
I
back
would
and
say,
forth.
well, I would say, yeah, a better way to say it is it just Fallout in space?
I would definitely say it'd be a lot closer to Fallout just because it's humans, more
No,
human type shit.
yeah.
Yeah. And like I don't really know what the crafting stuff is like on say Skyrim, but like I know like with upgrades and stuff like that, it reminds me a little bit of Fallout, which makes sense. I mean, I definitely get why, but I don't
Well,
know. I don't know.
the
I
reason why is because their fan base kind of expects that sort of thing anyway. Like if they were
yeah,
to give them something so completely different, a lot of people would possibly be disappointed. But some people like those little, I guess, quirks. Some people are completely okay with having glitches in the game, even though they said they wouldn't have glitches in the game. They're like, oh,
right.
it's just Bethesda. Some people are okay with having like weird looking NPCs or broken game quests. They'll be like, oh, it's just Bethesda.
Yeah. But like let's just say some of that stuff gets fixed, right? Like
Oh, it
are
definitely
people
well,
going to change their tone?
no, because well, the thing is that this it gets fixed all the time. Like
Yeah.
literally, the thing that has been given, what Bethesda's been living off of for like the past, I don't know, fucking like damn near 15 to 20 years now, is the modding community.
Yeah.
See, a lot of people really didn't like Fallout 3 was big because it was the first game kind of its time like that.
Mhm.
One of the reasons why it got popular. But once people actually played the fucking game, like me, it wasn't that impressive. And then they had to wait until there was stuff added to the game in order to make it like I guess a little bit better. And then of course you hear about Fallout New Vegas, and that was a game that everybody loved. And then eventually you had like the freaking mod communities add a bunch of more crap to it, and it made it way better. Same thing for Skyrim. I think Skyrim was actually probably one of the better complete games, but the
Yeah.
mod community made that game like amazing. Everybody loved it because of the mod community. And even now, same sort of thing is happening with with this game here. Like the mod community's coming in, they're modding the hell out of it. They're giving you all these different skins, different ways to access the game, putting all different code and stuff into it
Yeah.
in order to make the game more interesting. And basically, that's what Bethesda's been relying on for like I said, fucking 10, 20 years now. Well, 10, 15 years or so.
Yeah. I
And
mean,
people are okay with it.
I was about to say with Skyrim though, I mean, like, same thing we talk about with Grand Theft Auto is like if it ain't broke, don't fix it. The shit it works. I mean, they did it for 3 consoles and they still sell the game,
Problem
new
is that it's
copies of the
broke.
game.
Well, that's the issue though. It is basically broke. Like I could understand if you were maybe spending, let's say 50 to 60 bucks for something that plays like a game that was on the fucking early PlayStation 4 or early Xbox One. Who cares? You're getting your money's worth, whatever. But for the people that had to drop like 70 bucks for this shit, holy damn. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, that is definitely crazy. As it is for when people buy just about any game these days, it's pretty crazy because it's almost nothing is worth that money. Uh,
Oh, well,
in my
it
head,
depends on what you get.
I can't see how someone would be able to pay for the second Star Wars Fallen Order game or whatever that was called. I don't remember what it was called, and be
Yeah.
like this was worth the money. I don't see how people. Now these are I'm listing off games that I haven't played, obviously, but I don't see how someone could buy the latest Legend of Zelda game and be like, damn, that was worth $70. And the same
Oh,
thing, and the same thing goes for this new Spider-Man game that's coming out. I don't see how someone's going to be able to pay for $70 for that and say that it is more worth $70 than a game like Starfield is.
yeah. Hell
Like,
yeah.
but how? I mean, within the
Okay.
exception of
When
having,
it comes when it well nothing because I mean now you're getting off in like I guess the capitalistic money is like is anything really worth 70 bucks? Probably not. But I mean to them they're gonna feel like it is because the whole idea is that we have to charge you more money because we have to put more blah 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 into it in the graphics engines and da 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 and all that kind of shit. So that's how they're gonna feel about it. If it was up to them, they'd probably charge you like $150 for it, which is really why they have like microtransactions and all that shit invested. But when it comes to gamers these days, the whole point of it is okay, Breath of the Wild, the sequel to Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom. Hey, it
yeah,
lets you do all this, woody woo crap where you can like upgrade and build stuff. And for some people, that's all they fucking wanted. Like
right,
real shit. $70 for a game in which you basically just play Legos all fucking day and send it to your best friends because you don't have a social life and you had to, have social validation online by sending memes. For some people, that's all they needed. But to
right,
be
and
real with you, when it comes to that, it's like Breath of the Wild was considered to be a class game. So if you can just do that and then maybe give people more freedom to do whatever else in the fuck that they were doing in the first few games, yeah, that's $70 worth. Spider-Man, the first game, peak. $70 worth. So to do that and basically make a Miles Morales and a Spider-Man game where you can trade out between the players and fight and all that shit, it's basically the same game but just better. Yeah, worth $70. God of War, worth $70.
Fallout, Skyrim, but in space, worth $70.
For people who like Bethesda games, but see, we're talking about tech. We're talking about tech. We're talking about the whether or not the game crashes on you consistently. We're talking about whether or not the game is up to
Which
standards.
is apparently it must be. I mean, it's probably bad, but it can't be that bad.
It's bad, dude.
I mean, if it
There
my
are
thing
memes.
is my thing is if it was that bad, this game wouldn't be being. That's all you would see. Like,
Go,
okay,
I'm telling you, like
let me
it's
let me be
they
anecdote.
they they're making a thing every day about it, just about.
Let me be anecdotal about it. Me personally, I've had the game
You haven't
crash.
had it, yeah.
I've had it lock up on me one time. and it was after I had been playing for like 3 hours, and that's the
That's
only
not
time.
worth $70.
That's like I first okay. Well, guess what? I didn't pay $70 for it, and
That's
there's
what that's what I'm saying. Like anecdotally for you, it's okay. And that's kind of like the thing with Microsoft overall. Like we spoke about this
I'll
beforehand.
also say if that's the standard though, like that these
It
games all have these
it
flaws in
isn't.
them.
It shouldn't
Liter-
be.
Literally
That's what
every
people
it
were saying.
seems.
That's why Baldur's Gate was so huge because people like put a lot of money into that game over years and years, and people beta tested the hell out of it to make sure it gave you like a complete game. And I'm sure it has like graphical problems as well, but the issue with gaming overall is that you have people spending like a lot of fucking money for games that aren't like not only are they not delivering in a sense of just not being that fun of a game, but they're crashing, like they're messing up, the graphics aren't up to par. And see, the issue is that like when you have people making promises, like Bethesda has, well, Todd Howard has a tendency to do for every fucking game he releases, and they don't make anything, like they don't come clean with any of the fucking promises. Well, then yeah, people are gonna have an issue with it. But to rectify this a little bit, that people are okay with it because it is literally Bethesda. But that's my point about it. Like
Starfield,
some people
according
just
to
don't give a shit.
GameSpot, Starfield, and this is as of a week ago.
That's
We'll
game
see.
fuck.
GameSpot says Starfield has already over 6 million players, making it Bethesda's biggest launch of all time. Now,
Yeah,
listen, that doesn't mean anything necessarily because just like how money and inflation grows, so do the people who play video games. So to be fair, that's the thing. Right here, the most expensive game ever cost $215 million more than Bethesda's Starfield. And I guess it's talking about a game called Star Citizen. I
yeah,
don't
it's
know.
another game that's way better than Starfield. And
I don't know.
I'm not trying to like what Starfield would be considered to be is a space sim. It's a game where you're supposed to like build, ships and then travel through space and search. It's the same thing with No Man's Sky. But see, the problem is, and like that's what I was saying earlier, is that there are other games that have been doing this better for a longer amount of time.
Yeah,
They need to step their shit up. They can't just rely on I'm Bethesda, so no one gives a fuck. But the problem is that people won't give a fuck, which is why they'll kind of keep getting, the bottom of the barrel. Like I said, it's okay for somebody to like the damn game. I'm not saying that they shouldn't fucking like the game, but I think we need to be like realistic about what you're getting.
yeah. I
That's
mean,
that's all I'm saying.
it's fair enough. I mean, it's just like I just Googled just to see, like I do.
But see,
Uh,
the point is that like why would Todd Howard, why would Bethesda have any reason to do better or give people like their fucking money's worth if all they do, if like their fan base is like, oh, we like you anyway because Skyrim. Like, hey, screw Fallout 670, like screw Fallout 76 and all that bullshit that came from that. Screw this. Because I mean, I'm not saying it's like a bad game. I just think it was probably not up to par what people thought it was going to be up to par. At the same time, I think it's okay. I think Starfield is exactly what it was going to be. If anything, maybe a little bit better because it was not insanely as terrible as people probably wanted it to be. But I think they just need to step it up some. I don't think it's worth fucking $70. Like just looking at it, I think the game is maybe worth like 60, like an old gen, like a last gen game or something.
yeah, yeah. I don't know. It's crazy. I mean, it does. It definitely, I imagine, could look better. I mean, I played on my computer, so it looks pretty good on my computer. I don't know what it would necessarily look like on my. I don't even
But
think you could.
in comparison to something like Uncharted 4 or God of War, right, and the Rocket Spider Man, come on,
I mean, I don't know. I never played those games, so it's hard
but
for
you
me
know
to
what they look
say.
like.
I mean, kind of. I mean, but the thing is all that stuff looks like cartoony shit. So it's spareable. I mean, I don't. It would be hard to compare. Like I would have to like
Oh,
look at them
fuck
side by
that. I would
side.
say Final Fantasy 7.
I
Like
don't
looks
understand.
like a goddamn like it looks like a fucking CGI movie pretty much.
Yeah,
Damn,
I
my
mean,
fucking
I
PC
guess.
is humming.
Yeah, mine
Oh
too,
no,
or my Xbox rather. But still,
that yours is always humming though.
yeah, that's fair.
But yeah, but see, this is the point. It's like this is the reason. You have everyone's been giving Baldur's Gate 3 like you know, the the validation of any game, and people were saying, well, like Bethesda had as much time, they had way more money. Why in the fuck couldn't they make something like this? And that's the
Yeah.
point. It's a well-known point. Like you have Microsoft on your side. Why in the fuck is your game fucking up? Why is it? Why doesn't it have good characters? Why doesn't it have a good story? Why doesn't it have decent gameplay? But then again, Baldur's Gate, I think is like a bit different though. So I'll try to give him leniency on that.
I know it's a different kind of game, but outside of that, I don't know. I've never played any of those games. I just know that they say that I don't know. It kind of makes me want to look up screenshot of Baldur's Gate because I've heard people talking about it so much.
It's just the fact that like they had a lot of time and they had money and they had, I guess, maybe a few more. They're kind of like I would say, damn near independent company and publisher and developer, but the dude just loves making video games, so he poured his heart and soul into making a fucking game. Whereas I
Well,
guess they don't have to answer to shareholders, at least for right now, and
are
they
you talking
kind of
about?
do the
Are you talking about Baldur's Gate?
yeah.
Oh, okay. I
They
was
don't
about to
have to
say,
answer to certain people, and they kind of just do whatever the fuck they want to do.
yeah,
And because of that, they're able to put as much love and effort into the games they want to, and time.
yeah. I mean, I guess when you talk about something like that, like let's see, Baldur's Gate
Like
3.
all you had to do, like look up how devs responded to it, or how like some of the gaming industries have been responding to it. Because see, a lot of them are saying, well, Baldur's Gate 3 is an anomaly. It shouldn't even like people shouldn't expect to have games that come out complete and are lacking in microtransactions every single time. Like this should not be the standard. But people were saying, bitch, this was the standard like 20 years ago. Like when you made a game, the game came out complete. You didn't have to really worry about microtransactions or DLC packets and none of that kind of shit to like help soothe over the patches of the game and all that stuff. Like the
Yeah.
game came out, that was it. You played it, you enjoyed it. That's the end of it. Now, of course, if it gets more popular, they'll probably add something on to it. But
That was crazy. Yeah, the Baldur's Gate on Open Critic, and I don't know what Open Critic really is, but it has a better excuse me, Starfield has a 3.3 and Baldur's Gate has a 4.4.
yeah,
Let's
also
see.
it killed Diablo 4.
Yeah, talk about hadn't heard shit about that game since then.
Because I mean, well, people played it. And I think they were surprised that they weren't getting nickel and dime right off the bat. But after they beat the game, there wasn't much else to do with it. And then there was a lot of nickel and diamond in the game, like spending, I don't know, like 50, $60 for characters and shit and just dumb stuff. And people like, this is stupid. We're gonna go play a game that actually tries to give you, your money's worth. And that's what it really comes up. Like long explanation. That's what it means to get your money's worth. If you
Yeah.
play a game, you get a full fucking game. You don't have to worry about it messing up on you too much. You don't have to worry about feeling like you've, put a lot of time into something that is not worth your time, not worth the money.
Right. And see, Baldur's Gate seems like it also has like the replayability of like,
Well, it's a long ass D&D type game. Like you
yeah,
with hundreds, fucking 200, 300 hours, I guess if you really want to play that much. But I would probably not want to do that. Because see,
yeah,
I'm not the type of person that feels like, oh well, I have to spend hundreds of hours in the game in order for it to have like
right,
playability.
right.
Like
For it to be worth me purchasing
yeah.
at all.
Mm-mm. I can be okay with like, having a good solid game that lasts about 20 hours, maybe a little bit more than that.
And
And if
see,
it's good, it's good.
Baldur's Gate, Baldur's Gate came out at the 69.99 price point,
Yeah,
which is just
but it's worth it.
crazy. I mean, it's worth it to some
That's
people. And see, to me, I feel like I
well,
don't
see, that's
know.
one to us, $70 is not no, because see, personally speaking, I ain't about to be paying no fucking $70. No goddamn game. That's why I don't be doing the whole like pre-order type shit. I think I did it for Kingdom Hearts, and that was it.
Right.
That was simply because I did not want the game to be ruined for me. But outside of that, I've never pre-ordered a damn
I was
thing.
about to say, in all fairness, I'm not a $70 game guy either.
Yeah,
You know, any
no.
of all those games I was referring to earlier that I would
I'll wait.
love to play, I would still not spend fucking $70.
I'll
Grand
I'll,
Theft
I'll
Auto
wait.
is the only game I'll spend $70 on.
I wait until like the special editions drop and like DLC and all that crap comes with it, and then I'll probably buy it. And then by the time I get that bitch probably like 50, $60 or whatever. But outside of that, hell no. Like buying something brand spanking new for $70 is wild to me. But see, that's what I'm saying. Like for us, that's how we feel about it. But at the end of the day, when it comes to what you buy, and that's what I mean. Like when you buying that, you spending fucking $70, the game to me, it better not have no fucking problems.
Yep,
That's how I feel
fair
about it.
enough. I get what you're
Like
saying.
it better not crash. It better look $70 worth. It better not look like a fucking brand new year one PlayStation 4 Xbox One game.
Yeah, be like,
You know,
this is like the sixth of the price of my computer.
yeah. That's what I'm
So,
saying. It better look amazing. It better play amazing. I better feel like I've spent my money well.
right.
And see, for most crap, I don't even buy that stuff because I feel like none of it is probably going to be up to par with the money that I spent on it, which is why exactly I wait to spend
Yeah.
that kind of money. But
Yeah.
see,
I mean,
for people who don't have Game Pass, well, hey,
you could easily see why they would go online and start get to griping.
oh yeah, but then again, it's like, whose fault is that? You believe the hype.
Yeah. I mean,
But then
but
again, chances are, if you have this, considering the game is a fucking Xbox exclusive, they probably have Game Pass any fucking way. So
well,
then
and
you got to think
it,
about it from the perspective of like, are they actually making as much money on this game?
I think that that's one of the reasons why they probably are like, we don't really care. I don't want to say they don't care. The game is not as flawed as you are making it sound. It obviously does have flaws, but for people who don't have fine-tuned eyes like myself, then it, or you don't pay attention to a lot of the things that would be critiqued about it. But I will say this, if there was any reason for neglect or reason for, they obviously do have a lot of shareholders that are paying attention. If there is that, taking that into consideration, the pleasing of the shareholders and the speeding up of the process, it's quite possible that they could be doing like like
Well, they had years to do it.
sure,
Like I don't
fair
particularly
enough.
think it's just a shareholder thing. Like with them, I think it's just Bethesda being lazy, and they know that they can be lazy because their fan base doesn't particularly give a shit. Like their
Th-
fan base allows them to be lazy, so they'll keep being lazy.
But what I have an idea. What if they have, because they're inevitably going to have DLC for this game.
The
Uh
modders. That's what I'm
uh,
saying. It's like they can just release this game as it is, and then they'll let the mod community do everything else for them.
and maybe that's how it goes down. But like, what if they end up releasing their DLC and their DC their DLC has that ability to go back and forth across space and travel across the worlds and stuff like that, and it like fixes all this stuff, and then it would be really shitty because they'd probably be like, that's going to be an extra $50 8 months from now. But
I
in the
mean, yeah,
same
they
breath,
probably would. Why not?
and I mean, they've already, I mean, assumably they've already made their money back for what they've invested in the game. If they've got at least,
I
well,
don't know. If everybody's playing on Game Pass, then probably
yeah,
not.
let's see. Because that headline that I read earlier did say it had that many people playing.
Yeah, see,
So
there's a difference between the player count versus like the people that actually paid money for it.
yeah,
Like player count just shows exactly. Well, cause see, all right, when it comes to learning about how much money stuff makes, a lot of that shit is like fine, it's thin-lipped. Like you're not really gonna hear about that unless it is good. Like think about always bring up like Last of Us 2. That is like a perfect example because when the game was first sold, a lot of people were talking about fucking 4 million copies sold, and then the moment that they realized that it was lower or it hasn't moved since then, they stopped talking about it.
yeah,
And then I think well think about how much when that redacted information came out about Sony, right? When they were trying to talk about exactly how much money the game made, they showed exactly how much money the game made, and it was like all up under what was it, like a marker or something like that? Like some people found out how much money they had to spend on making the game and how much money the game made, and it was low. Like they
yeah,
spent a ton of money on making Last of Us 2, and I think it kind of showed that they may have barely just made it back now, like over the past few years.
yeah.
See, that information usually isn't out. Like they're not going to tell you exactly how much money the game has made, especially since the game hasn't even been out that long.
Right.
You're not
I
gonna get that
remember.
information until fucking maybe 2, 3 years down the line.
I remember when Red Dead 2 came out, and it was like somehow like it was like 9 or 10 days, or maybe not even. But they were like this information came out that it was like within like 4 days of the game being released, they had made back the money that they had spent on it, and that was like this big deal that and it could have been just video game propaganda, you know how that shit goes.
Most
But
of it
like
is.
I remember when I saw that, I was like, God damn, because like I know the game had to have been expensive to make, still cheaper than Grand Theft Auto 5, but that's probably because some of that mechanic stuff was carried over. But I don't know how much of that works like that, uh, but I know that they spent a cockload of money on Grand Theft Auto 5, and obviously since then they've made it back. But like it just makes me wonder, like how long it took for them to make back the money that they spent.
Well,
Or
considering that they have the Grand Theft Auto 5 is their money machine, so they don't really Rockstar will probably never be at a fucking loss.
sure, yeah, they probably can literally afford to make two new titles and take a loss with both of those before they start cutting into the Grand Theft Auto 5 money. But
Yeah, they're good. They're straight.
yeah, I mean, obviously, I hope that doesn't. I couldn't imagine what it would be like for Grand Theft Auto 6 to come out and people being like, "Yeah, we'd rather just keep playing Grand Theft Auto 5."
Probably so.
I mean, I don't know.
I mean, well, cause
It's never happened with a Grand Theft Auto title before.
yeah,
So
but times are different. Like gamers are different. Like you have people now who don't particularly just give a fuck about playing the story missions or like just there's some people who don't particularly care about just playing like the campaign of it. There's some people who mostly care about playing damn, who mostly care about the online aspect. But see,
yeah,
because this is going to be a brand new thing, it's unless they've already been pumping like 10 years into it or something to make it just as good as Grand Theft Auto 5 online, if not better, which I mean they probably already have to be honest with you. But see, the thing is whenever you make those types of games, you're gonna have to worry about getting those same gamers to move over to the new game.
yeah,
Some people put like, dude, I'm not playing. People put thousands of dollars into
yeah,
Grand
and
Theft Auto 5.
hours and hours
Yeah,
and hours and hours. Yeah, I mean, I've definitely seen on YouTube for sure, like people just goddamn living their lives on there.
yeah. It is legitimately like Second Life. I forgot the name of that fucking. I think that was the name of the Second Life.
Second Life definitely was that game back in the day,
Yeah,
for sure.
but yeah, to the point of it, it's just, I mean, Grand Theft Auto 5 and 6, they have that game, they have name recognition.
Right.
But see, in my opinion, they have better name recognition than Bethesda
I
because
mean, of
they haven't
course.
fucked up yet, technically. Well, when you think maybe you could say they screwed up with the remake, the remasters of what was it fucking the remaster of damn Grand Theft Auto, like
Yeah,
the
like the
Grand Theft Auto
first few or
remasters and
whatever. Yeah. I did
yeah,
definitely hear
yeah,
that.
and
Didn't they like outsource that shit to somebody and they like
yeah,
realized
and it
like,
was yeah, and it
damn,
was ass. Yeah, it
yeah,
was just bad. But I mean, most of the cases when they kind of do that shit, they kind of just half-assing it again. Where like most
yeah.
remasters, which
I
I
feel
mean,
like people
me and
aren't
James
just
had a whole
expecting
conversation about that.
not everybody's expecting Resident Evil 4, that type of
No, well,
success.
that's the thing is like me and James had a conversation about it, and there is a difference between like a remaster versus a reboot, like or a remake. A remaster is literally just the same game, but they kind of put like a little bit of a different color and a paint over it.
Some
Sometimes
gloss
they don't
over
even,
it.
yeah, sometimes they don't even fucking change like the gameplay. Like so
Yeah.
that's something that pisses people off. Is like, damn, like the game still plays like it's fucking a PlayStation 2 game
Yeah.
versus a remake, which changes literally the entire makeup of the game.
Right. That makes sense. Could definitely see why there would be a reason for different perception on that. I don't I don't know. My thing is I'm just so bad about like I don't it takes a lot for me to like be like, yeah, I'm gonna go back and play a game through. Like I couldn't even tell you like the last time I did that. Last time I did that was when I first moved here and started playing Grand Theft Auto 5 through again. And that's because I didn't have internet. So I was like, well, fuck, I just had a kid and I need to pass time, so I'm gonna play Grand Theft Auto 5. Ironically enough, we were just talking about that game, but that's like, I don't know, I'm not really big on replaying games, especially you know, like I think I romanticize the idea of going back and playing through all the Kingdom Hearts stuff and like just as much as I can, to have access to. But then I'm like, I don't care. Like I don't care enough to do that at
Yeah,
all. But to each their own. I know that real hardcore gamers, they like games, so they play them multiple times and they enjoy them multiple times. And I'm just
yeah.
not the guy, sadly. But
I mean,
and
nothing to be sad about. It's just that's just what it.
I'm the resident fan of Assassin's Creed games and over at the Hideout. So, but like, there's no way in absolute dog shit I'm going to spend the money, the $70 to get this new game that's coming out.
And it's
And
essentially just a fucking. It's just a damn DLC any fucking way.
well, the way that they explain it is it's kind of like a callback to the good old days. And I'm like, well, like, so you mean to tell me there's gonna be less shit in the game than what has been in the previous three games? I'm okay. I'm fine on spending the money on that because, and by less shit, I understand that they might make a better game, a more cohesive game, or something like that.
Yeah, well, because I mean, like, all right, for the hours that you pumped into the game, did you actually enjoy riding around on a fucking horse, picking and crafting, and just picking and crafting and picking and crafting and doing
I
RPG mechanics?
I did enjoy the game, but like I've said, I enjoyed the game and I thought it was fun as hell,
Like, all right,
because it was an adventure game.
versus the first Assassin's Creed games that you played, would you say which one was more cohesive? Which one had the better pace?
Man, dude, I haven't played those first ones in forever, like years. I would never even analyze the games the
But
same way that I do
you
now.
beat them. You beat them though, right?
I beat one of them, and then I played another one all the way pretty far through.
Because
Then
it's
my
like I'll give you an example. So back in the cut, people bitched and moaned about Assassin's Creed 2 having this little thing in it where you can collect feathers. And you
Okay,
had to collect about 100 feathers in the game. And the reason why you did the collection was because your mother, who was Ezio's mother, wanted the character to, um, I guess like, what's a good word for it? Fuck. I guess like it was something about his little brother being killed. Like his little brother got hung and all that shit. His whole family got killed, and it's in remembrance of his brother because his brother used to like collecting feathers.
yeah,
So in the game, you can run around and collect 100 different feathers. After you collect the feathers, you give it to the mother, and I think you end up getting like this badass sword or something like that, and
sure,
also like a family sigil cape. Now that's pretty cool. I used to hate doing it. I thought it was insanely stupid for a while, but
right,
because of how it connected to the story and how it made a lot of sense within the story, I did it almost every fucking time I played the game. And
yeah,
also, like your character's supposed to be 100% synced up with Ezio, and it seems to be a canon event. It's something that actually happened within the story, so it makes sense. It makes you want to do it. Versus Assassin's Creed Odyssey or fucking Valhalla, where it's like run around and collect this thing, and then run not only feathers but also collect horseshoes. Also collect,
yeah. It's like five or six different
yeah,
things for five or
and
six
they're
different
all yeah,
reasons.
and it's all like, and it's all a shit ton of them, and it's like, well, how does that play into the story? It doesn't really,
Yeah,
huh? Right? Do you enjoy it? Yeah. You see what I'm saying? It's just, it's like it's they pad out the game in order to give people that feeling of. I hate how people keep like, we have to get out of this spot, Shane. We don't make it past this spot.
I'm
Like we never we this is
just I'm going to follow Soggy Nuts.
yeah, he
That's
seems
his
like he was an
that's his
artist or
name.
something.
So
Yeah, I'm sure he is just chock full of wisdom.
yeah, great ideas.
Wisdom and glee. But the point being is that one of the downfalls I think of the whole $70 game or the $60 game, I guess, is the fact kind of what we were speaking on earlier, is that how gamers feel like, well, if I burn 200 hours into the game, I feel like I've got my money's worth. And like I was saying earlier, I do not think that that correlates with getting the money.
200 hours is a long fucking
Yeah,
time.
but you can easily burn 200 hours in a fucking Assassin's Creed game because it's technically an RPG open world adventure game. Any open world game you can burn hundreds of hours in and probably barely get through the fucking game.
You're right, but I mean, getting into the conversation just talking about fucking $70 games. Like, I mean, goddamn, everything that's coming out is $70 now, right? Like that's their new
Not
standard. Is
everything, but they're trying to push it into that. Like I think the vast majority of games are still like below $70, but when you're talking about a flagship title like I guess like Assassin's Creed sees itself as being, then yeah, that's going to be $70. It shouldn't
yeah,
be because it's technically DLC.
it's not DLC.
They're using the same exact engine that they use from Valhalla. Also, the idea was initially for it to be DLC for Valhalla, but they just decided to make it into like a full game. So it probably won't be as long as something like Valhalla, simply because it was supposed to be tacked on.
Yeah.
Or at least that's what I heard. I could be insanely wrong about that shit.
I have an adjacent conversation that we could talk about real quick before we get out of here.
Yeah.
Why did
Oh
they
damn.
why did they
Yeah.
make why did they make different kinds of like games? Like let me explain. Like you know how they had the Street Fighter and then
Yeah.
like they made like the different like numbers and they did the same thing with the Dragon Ball games. Like they're always just these so many different types of titles and stuff. Like it seems like with fighting games they do it. But like okay, I guess there was a whole alpha series. Like
Alpha's supposed to be the prequels.
so it's all based story wise is the why they have it like that, or is it like different developers or
Well, when it comes to fighting games, it's even more egregious. Like because fighting games initially started out in the arcades, and
Mhm.
I think something about like the money and how they were trying to get money from it because they can no longer get money from the arcades or some kind of shit. But what they used to like you ever played a Street Fighter 2 and it was like Street Fighter 2, Street Fighter Turbo 2, Street Fighter Super Turbo 2. And it's
Yes.
literally like the same game, but just maybe a few extra characters or something like that.
And see, that's what I was
And
gonna
they
say.
sell it
I
to you
didn't
over
remember.
and over and over again. They kind of did the same shit with like Street Fighter 4. It was like Street Fighter 4, then Street Fighter 4 Super Deluxe and Street Fighter 4. This is what they do in fighting games. And this is actually one of the reasons why the fighting game kind of crashed for a while and Capcom was kind of behind it because they kept releasing the same game with like maybe a few extra characters or characters that they had in the first few games, but they kept them out the games. They sold them as DLC and
Right.
blah 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 and whatever, whatever. But it's actually a staple within fighting games for that to happen. Like I said, they've been doing it pretty much since the cartridge days.
That's crazy. See, it makes me wonder because I remember they had, like, and I also guess I should take into consideration that, these days they could have like maybe promote a DLC or I keep wanting to say expansion pack, but they could promote stuff like that and it's different. But like back in the day, I
Oh, in a
guess
way,
they're
I
like,
mean,
we're gonna do another. We're gonna start
Morrowind
doing
had a
it.
bunch of special packs. Sorry.
Sorry, it's cool. We're gonna do like a whole bunch of new like copies of. It's basically like they're reprinting the game. We're gonna make a
Yeah.
whole bunch of more copies, but we are gonna add these people, and we're not making the old version anymore. So now we've just got the Turbo edition. Uh, and like I just I get did they promote it in such a way that like, hey, you guys, even though you own the other one, you should come out and buy this one, as opposed to being like, hey, for those of you who haven't bought it yet, or you don't own the game, or you're just now getting into wanting the game, you got to buy the new version, which has turbo and it has more people on it. Like nowadays, it seems more predatorial, but I wondered if it was the same way back then. If the goal was just like, yeah, we've got these suckers that'll buy that shit every time, so we're just gonna put it out. And if it makes
Probably,
money, I guess, but
probably so.
yeah.
It's just that it's like I said, it's a predatorial thing that people were just accustomed to. Like a lot of people were pissed off about it with Street Fighter Five,
Yeah, well,
which
I
is
remember
why I
there's a
guess
lot of people pissed off about Street Fighter
yeah,
5.
which is like which is why I guess now people are more okay with it because I guess the newer one wasn't as badly y'all fucked already in these streets.
Yes, super knocked behind the thing and everything. And then just watch this dude pick up his homeboy. They both dying out here too. These guys suck. There's two dudes in here. They are ready to die. They're not afraid.
Oh well, I got one of them.
Yeah, I saw
Everybody in
that.
is ready to die.
Yeah.
Everybody's in there like, yo, it's just I'm gonna kill you and yeah, but um yeah, I mean like well, I was talking about expansions. Like Morrowind had like the Daggerfall expansion and I think like the Blood Moon expansion. Like there's always technically been DLCs in games. It's just that they gave you more bang for your buck, pretty
Right.
much. in comparison to something now where it's like we're going to release a game that's shit pretty much, and then we're going to release patches for it to kind of patch up the crap that we put out, and then we're going to charge you for DLC that probably should have been in the game in the first place.
Right.
It's like a
That
consistent thing that happens in games now, so people are kind of a little bit tired of it, I guess.
I mean, understandably so. I personally would be grown ill of it if I was someone who had to keep up with that. And I think maybe it's just the way that I looked at it when I was a kid, because I always thought of it as like they're like, "Oh man, we came up with another idea." You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's just funny how much differently we look at it now because that's clearly not the way
Well,
it
for some of
way it
them it
is.
is. Um,
Uh, I just think it's like, oh, they came up with another idea since they released this game. It's like,
yeah.
no, these motherfuckers had some of this shit already stored away somewhere. Like
Well,
whether
like
even if it's not even into concept really yet, but they've got it on paper somewhere.
in the case of the fighting games, and this is what happened with Capcom. Like they had this game called A Serious Wrath,
Hmm.
and there was a secret ending to the game because I bought the game. It was a badass game, but the game kind of ends on a cliffhanger. And of course, you buy the DLC to get the end of the fucking game. But the ending was already coded onto the disc. And they did
See
this
that
for a lot of their games. Like they did
it's
this for Street Fighter
trash, dude.
5. They did this for Street Fighter versus Tekken. They did this for a few of the games where like the game was actually coded on the disc, and basically you were having to pay to unlock it. And so they got in trouble for that. So that there is a difference. And also versus something like let's say for Infamous 2 there was a DLC called I think it's like Festival of Blood. Now,
Yeah.
see, at the end of the fucking game, like your character either lives or dies. It's a very like direct ending. Like basically your character dies or he can live and become evil, basically everybody else. But Festival of Blood is just a fun little thing. They just added to the game you can become a vampire.
Wow.
Or I would even say like with Kingdom Hearts 3, because I know this is probably like one of the ones that people complained about. Um, it expands a lot on the ending of the story. So the ending
Yeah.
is kind of fleshed out more and it kind of, I guess, makes more sense. And of course, you have like more battles and more combos. But you yourself know there's a thing called Final Mix that every
Yes.
Kingdom Hearts game has. And it's basically like the expansion of the story, more cutscenes added to, further flesh out everything, and just additional battles and fights, and basically everything is upgraded. And back in the cut, Japan was the only person that, I mean, they were the only people that were able to get it. And eventually they ended up giving it out to the USA as well. But I guess with this version, they just sent it out as DLC.
Yeah. Why was it done like that?
I don't know because they always did it like that.
Yeah. Like
But see, well, actually, they would have do it like they always did it. It would have took them a fucking like I don't know, maybe 10 years to
yeah.
release it. So we would have got what you would call like the vanilla version of the game, which is bare bones, or you get what you get, and then maybe like 5, 10 years later, we would have got like the expansion or whatever.
Kingdom Hearts Kingdom Hearts 4 comes out, like let's just say hypothetical. Kingdom Hearts 4 comes out exactly 2 years after the release of the new uh Final Fantasy 7.
Yeah, that's probably what may happen, maybe.
Could you imagine? Do you think it would hit the same way, or do you think it would break some records? Do you think the player base, I mean, we're looking at a full what 20 plus 23 years since the first game came out, and like do you think that there will be even enough people? I mean, because I don't know, I didn't necessarily, maybe I just have recency bias, but I don't remember the release of 3 being like this, just astronomical release that changed the
Well,
game.
one of the problems of 3, the release of 3, I mean, it broke records. I think it was like the maybe highest selling one. I'm not too sure. I got to check on that shit, but
It was probably the highest selling Kingdom Hearts game.
yeah, which is I guess good, but but no, from what I remember, you had a lot of people disappointed of the store because of like I said, because there was such an hype and people had their own little ways of they had their own little theories about how things were supposed to play out, and it didn't play out exactly as they thought it was going to play out. Also, a lot
Yeah.
of people were pissed off about the battles. They were pissed off about how the game wasn't, hard enough. And a lot of people were mad that it wasn't like Kingdom Hearts 2. That's basically what it was. And then that's why they came out with the DLC, which kind of rectified a lot of that shit. But and they already had it planned to come out any damn way. Like I said, that was basically the final mix version of it.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Like I think it just depends on the hype machine. I think one of the other reasons why people kind of got tired of it is because they kept showing things. Like by the time Kingdom Hearts 3 came out, if you watched most of the fucking trailers, you seen most of the game.
Yeah.
That was another problem. Like they kind of ruined the fucking game by showing all these different trailers. And if you remember correctly, some of the fucking trailers were showing the end of the game.
Yeah.
They
Uh,
showed them in the fucking the Keyblade graveyard and all that crap.
right. I thought it was
So
cool, man. I thought it was cool the way that they had some of the scenes where they would go straight from cutscene to fight to cutscene, and it's like they made
oh
it
yeah,
feel
yeah.
kind of fast paced. I mean, back in the day, obviously, I loved the first one and I love the second one, but sometimes you'd be just doing those random, quests trying to progress the story on like these fucking planets that are just not as appealing as others.
Yeah, self-contained and yeah.
Yeah, and it's
Versus this
just
one, which kind of added like more of an open world aspect to it, but it wasn't so open world that it was fucking annoying. Like
yeah,
it wasn't like I have to collect 15 different goddamn things and
sure,
and yeah, it wasn't that kind of shit. Like they had that stuff in it, like most games do, but it wasn't annoying. Like
yeah,
I liked traveling through most of the worlds and also the fact that Kingdom Hearts was mostly a self-contained world in the first fucking place. I think
yeah,
people were kind of they wanted to see exactly like, well, what can we do in Olympus? Like, I
yeah,
want to like if you liked Hercules and if you like going to the Olympus Coliseum or whatever all the time, I think some people are like, man, it'd be cool if they actually just fucking finished the goddamn Hercules movie. And they
yeah,
did it. Like that's what I'm saying. They kind of did that. Uh, and I remember saying, it'd be cool if they actually fucking finished the Pirates of the Caribbean movie. They
yeah,
did it. It's to me, it's like as a fan of the shit, I think that they crossed off things that they were supposed to cross off.
right,
But see, also on top of that, if you're somebody who didn't particularly, a lot of people got into the game because it's like, oh, Kingdom Hearts 3. I remember playing Kingdom Hearts 2. It's like, but none of the other fucking 17 games that came out in
yeah,
between all that time. So it's like when you're seeing all these characters, you're like, oh, I remember Roxas. Why does
yeah,
this dude look like Roxas?
yeah. Oh,
Who is this character?
it's
Who is
not.
that
Oh, that's
character?
not Roxas.
Yeah. Oh, what the what? What the fuck? Who is this guy? Yeah, but there was a lot of that. Like I think their biggest problem is that they fucked around and they took too long.
Yeah,
Like they took way too long trying to get these games to come out. Um, and they had a lot of different games that were canon to the story and very important to the story, but they put that shit on like on fucking they put a lot of that stuff on handheld games and they put it on like handheld consoles and they put it on a fucking phone and they did this and they did that and just oh hell the times I got
yeah,
dead up. I already should have known.
yeah. They wrecked. Is that a demon in there?
Yeah, some kind of dragon or something like that.
Yeah. Can you let that thing out?
Some kind of dragon. Let it out. It would be cool. But yeah, I think they spent like fucking because I'm trying to remember like before Kingdom Hearts 2 was like what 2006
Yeah,
and Kingdom Hearts 3 came out what 2019 or something like that.
I think it
That's
was.
over a decade.
Yeah, that's a long time.
That is over a decade. And in between all that time, you put in a lot of information. And basically you had sequels to Kingdom Hearts 2. Like
Yeah,
you have Dream Drop Distance, which takes place after Kingdom Hearts 2, which is very important information. Then you got the prequels, then you got all this and that bullshit. Then you got the in-between stories. And it's like if you didn't play any of that, a lot of this shit ain't gonna,
yeah.
it's not gonna mean much to you.
And I felt like when I was playing three that there was a good bit of stuff that was going on around me that like, I'm supposed to be a little bit more comfortable with,
Yeah.
especially with all those people. Like, don't get me wrong, like if I only played one, two, and three, then like all those characters out of the 13 or whatever, I would be so upset that I didn't get more time with them.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because it's like there's so much story that could exist within those characters.
Yeah.
because they all like you have 13 different 13 whole characters that have their own personalities and
You talking
stuff
about the
like that.
organization? Yeah.
Yeah, like and I know that they're not all in the game at that one point in time, but still just look at the ones you fight against in that game. But they
Yeah,
all
because when
have
you got to think about it, like half of them are dead by the
yeah.
time you play Kingdom Hearts 2. Like most of them died in 358 days over two. It's like think
But
about it. It's like
but people
you got
don't even know
Xemnas,
that.
you got
Like it's
Xemnas, you
just what I'm
got
saying. If you only play those three games,
yeah, you got Xemnas, you got Shion. You don't even know who the fuck Shion is. You know
yeah,
what I'm saying? Like you don't even the girl who's the other half of like Roxas and all that shit. But see, all that was already done. Like, cause see how damn it, I guess the timeline. You're about to fucking nerd out, but all right, I'm trying to
yeah,
think. Okay, if I can just go off the top of my head, it's the phone games, which is like all that the fairy tale, the world of fairy tale type shit, like all the stuff that happened. I guess what Kyrie's grandmother was telling her about.
yeah,
All that's the phone games, like the cross union crap.
yeah,
God knows, like maybe hundreds, maybe thousands of years before the first game. And then you have Birth by Sleep, which is about like Terra, Aqua, Ventus, and then you get to Kingdom Hearts 1. And then in between Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2, you have Rechain of Memories and 358 Days Over 2, 358 Days Over 2. I think that's all about the Organization 13. Like it's
yeah,
literally you playing as Roxas while he's in Organization 13. And while that's happening, Chain of Memories is happening, like towards the butt end of it. Like they're
right.
simultaneous games almost. And then when that ends, it bleeds off into Kingdom Hearts 3. Like basically Kingdom, no, not Kingdom Hearts 3, but Kingdom Hearts 2.
Yeah,
Like whereas Rox's stories ends in Organization 13, it leads straight in Kingdom Hearts 2, and that's also the same time when Chain of Memories ends. And so two, that's it. And then after two, you have I think Dream Drop Distance. And then you have this other game which takes place with Aqua, and that's like at the same fucking time Kingdom Hearts 1 was going on. Like I think it's like basically Birth by Sleep Volume 2 or some shit.
that's
And
crazy.
it was really just a side. To be real with you, like fragmentary passages, that's what it's called.
Right.
But it's they had a plan to release that game on the PSP, but they just never got around to it. And I guess for people who wanted to see her story get cleared up or whatever, they ended up releasing the game. But it was basically just a demo. It was a tech
Yeah,
demo to see how Kingdom Hearts 3 would play out. But people fucking loved it.
yeah,
Like it was good. It was good enough story, and it kind of gave people closure on what was happening with Aqua and all this and that shit. And then
that's
all that
crazy.
leads off into Kingdom Hearts 3. Because that's what I'm saying. Like story wise, if you play all that stuff, it gives you a lot of closure. Like a lot of closure. It's actually really fucking good. And then when they come out with, the final mixed version of three, it makes so much more sense.
Right. Well, that's
And I
see,
think
that's
there's probably a
cool
few other games that I'm missing, but it's cool. But like it
because
sucks in a
it
sense.
does it sucks because it's like that stuff is not promoted the same way that the
Yeah.
other games
The
are.
issue
Like
is that
nobody is put on to that. Like they're building that. Like
you
clearly,
have to
they're
look for it. Like you
somebody is
really do have
building
to look for it.
a whole offshoot of like the same company that owns Final Fantasy is like building a whole offshoot, different brand. I mean, I should say building. I know that they were. I don't know if they're still focused on those properties the same way they were, say 10 years ago, but on those smaller ones is what I'm saying. But like, it's like that shit was not promoted the same way that say three was.
No. Well, but it's like I was saying, it's like the reason why it wasn't was because those games were coming out at a time when like RPGs and JRPGs and everything else, well, they were on the back burner. You
Yeah.
always hear me and James talk about how basically Persona 5 and the Legends of Zelda kind of saved those types of games because they kind of
Yeah.
did. For a while, it was just shooters. People were mostly caring about shooters, casual games kind of took over everything. And
Right.
because of that, a lot of those RPGs and JRPGs they got pushed to like portable systems.
Yeah.
So Birth by Sleep, basically the prequel to every fucking thing, or second prequel. It comes out on the PSP. And the 358 days and that I think that came out. Well, you already know about the other one, Game Boy Advance. Like Chain of Memories is a fucking Game Boy
Yeah.
game.
Yeah. I had
Um
it.
Yeah, 358 days. That was a Nintendo 3 that was a Nintendo DS game. Um Dream Drop Distance was initially called Dream Drop 3D. It was the
Yeah.
whole thing was like it was a 3D game pretty much. So it was on the 3DS. That was the whole premise of all that shit. Like so they kind of had gimmicks to it and stuff and but it's sad because they're all really ingrained to the story. And see, I guess that's why they came out with the collection because the collection gives you access to all of them. You can just play through some of them if you want to. But some of them you don't even get to play through them though because it's just you can just watch the story.
Right. And for someone like me, it would probably be easier to just do that. Still never did
Yeah,
that, by the
because
way.
at the end of 358 days, you get to play that part that you saw at the end of you remember the ending of Kingdom Hearts 1? Like the secret ending where you see like the blonde haired kid fighting Riku on top of the fucking on top of the tower.
Yeah.
That's the ending of 358 days. Like it's you playing as Roxas fighting Riku, surrounded by a bunch of fucking Neo Heartless and fighting them in the city. That's how that game ends.
Damn.
Yeah,
It sounds pretty intense.
yeah. It's badass. But of course, it was on a fucking 3D. It was on a DS. So the graphics look terrible. The graphics look terrible, but it doesn't matter. It's like if you're a huge fan of it, that is definitely a moment because you know if you were that kid that beat that game and got to the end of that part, and you're like, oh my god, I'm playing this. It's crazy.
Yeah. That's
And
wild,
then
man.
once you get like the yeah, but anyway,
No, I was just gonna say it reminds me of like when Neo fought Agent Smith in the rain at the end of that movie. Because
yeah,
it was like everything you ever wanted. It was like this
yeah,
is
but yeah, I mean, to I guess to end off that point, I don't know. I don't know why they did it like that.
yeah,
I guess it was because of the times they were probably thinking that people don't really care about JRPGs, so let's push it to these, to these fucking portable games, and let's see if we can get the portable systems to be sold. And yeah, I think that's kind of why they did it.
I mean, I feel like that those companies, that company specifically, Square Enix, and anybody that would be doing work with them, probably are already ready and set up like to for these channels that whether it be from development or just to processing and getting them built to go to like smaller platforms because they already do that
Yeah.
shit with Final Fantasy and stuff.
Yeah, and I think in Japan, in Japan, it's probably those smaller platforms probably sell a hell of a lot more over there than they do
Sure.
over here.
Yeah,
I
it's
think
like
that
it's
was another reason for it.
and that's I mean that's we're talking about the literally the same market that is the reason why Switch is so high selling. It's the same those
Yeah.
overseas like the Nintendo sells
Yeah, because I
crazy.
mean they did that with they also did it with Metal Gear Solid and with God of War. Like they're canon games of Metal Gear and God of War on the PSP. Also Parasite Eve
That's crazy.
and Uncharted. Like they just be dropping like the PSP had some heavy hitters on that bitch.
Yeah. I mean, it was a pretty decent console. I thought saw something the other day that was talking about a handheld for PlayStation. I don't know if it was
Yeah,
real or not.
yeah, they got one coming out, but it's one of those things where it's like, dude, let it go.
Yeah.
Like it's people don't do not want to do this for real. I think the only system that gets by with that is a Switch, is because they can. Like I think
Yeah.
people trust that more than they would PlayStation or Xbox to do it.
There's apparently a way for you to play Game Pass on your phone, which in my head sounds crazy. But like, I guess if you're one of these people that has a big ass phone, like with a big ass screen, you could just set the bitch up in front of you
Yeah,
and
I'm straight
connect
with that.
connect your Bluetooth to it.
Yeah, because I mean, like, how do you even feel about that? I hate having big ass phones. Like it takes up most of the space in your damn pocket.
Yeah,
And also
it's
like when you're holding it, like even for a full grown man, like when you're holding it, it's like God damn, like you're
dude.
fighting the text with one hand and it's not a
This is my main phone, and it is a Walmart phone, and it's bigger than pretty much any phone that I've had before. I mean, it doesn't
yeah.
look that big, but it's bigger than any phone I've had before. And I cracked it on the second day, so I had to buy a case, and it makes it 10 times worse.
hmm It's
It's
like you
like
barely get your fucking hands around it.
I got like the least evasive or the least invasive case that I could find too. And it's just like, man, it's if I wear in the wintertime, I already know. I put on pants. If my pants are a little snug, having to shove that fucking phone case in there. I wear
Can't
shorts
put can't
right
put
now.
nothing else to your damn body.
Yeah, exactly. It sucks, but it's whatever. Uh, I think we're gonna go. I'm gonna get off of here.
Yeah.
Uh, oh
I can
shit.
end it with me